Lewis Smith of MMA UK, joined by Jim Edwards, aka MMA Jim. Jim, just wondering if you could talk to me a little bit about UFC 226 coming up in Las Vegas. First of all, a long-awaited fight between DC and Stipe Miocic. What's your thoughts on this fight? How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, so going down, as you say, in Las Vegas next week, I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. We have UFC light heavyweight champion, UFC heavyweight champion, arguably two of the best fighters in the world, going head-to-head next week. I think it's been... we know for a fact that there's not going to be a lot of trash talking in the build-up to this fight. It's really going to be about who is legitimately the best out of the two in the cage. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much both men weigh on the night. If you look at Stipe Miocic's record, the last 3 times he's weighed in, bang on the dot, 238 pounds. So DC's talking about coming in around 240, 245. So is there going to be any advantage that we think that Miocic is going to have weight-wise? Probably not. DC could be the bigger guy actually on fight night. The one thing DC doesn't have though is the range and the length that Stipe has, and that plays very heavily into his boxing. I think that extra length is going to help him obviously just stay out of what DC does best, which is getting up to people, grinding them down, taking them down to the mat and beating them up. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight, but I do see Stipe Miocic actually coming out victorious and defending his belt for the 4th time.
Can we get a prediction of how you think that's going to go down, or not sure?
I mean, we've very, very rarely seen Daniel Cormier finished, so I think he's gonna tough it out. I think it's probably going to go around 3 rounds, I'd like to say. I think Stipe's going to finish it then, and I think we could say a TKO finish. I think it's gonna maybe go a bit similar to the way that the last John Jones fight with Daniel Cormier finished. I think we will see that finish coming around late 2nd, probably early 3rd.
Yeah. Excellent. And then obviously the co-main event, another massive fight. Champion Max Holloway is going to be taking on Brian Ortega. This is another one we've waited quite a long time for now at this point. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so what a fight this is, right? This is, I think when Brian Ortega beat Frankie Edgar back in March, we were all very, very excited about this fight with Max Holloway. And, what can I say? These are stylistically two of the most exciting fighters we actually have in the UFC. It's great to see this fight happening right now, because I think it's a fight we could see many, many a time in the future. When you look at it, compare Max, I guess, with Brian, they're two very, very different people, right? So Max, extremely good striker at the moment, very good at using range, getting in and out. We saw him against Jose Aldo, just using that extra length that he has to great effect. Unfortunately, for him, that length against Brian Ortega isn't necessarily going to be there. And Brian Ortega is incredibly dangerous when he gets fights to the mat, and even standing submissions. We saw him with that crazy guillotine that he put on Cub Swanson to get the victory there late last year. So there's a lot of different ways that both fighters can finish the fight. I do favour Max Holloway though. I think he's just been a bit more consistent out of the two. When you look at Brian's last few fights, obviously incredible performances against Cub Swanson and Frankie Edgar, but prior to that, he's been ran very close by the likes of Renato Moicano and just a few other guys that you wouldn't probably put on the level of Max Holloway. And he was very lucky to keep that kind of unblemished record that he does. I think on the night we're just going to see that Max Holloway is just that little level above him. But again, like I said, I have Max winning this fight, but I can see these two facing each other many, many a time down the line, and just can't wait for the first chapter at UFC 226.
Yeah, no, I would think that's the case. And do you think, obviously, you had the whole Max Holloway Khabib Nurmagomedov situation. Do you think, obviously, the fact that Max didn't fight in that, do you think that sort of built this fight a little bit more now, that whole sort of drama that went down?
Personally, no, I don't think so. I think Max was very, very ambitious taking that fight. I think he was well over the way that he needed to be. He was just coming off that ankle injury as well that he had in March. There was a report out today actually that Max was saying that pay-per-view with Khabib was trending over 1 million buys before he got injured and it pulled out. Ended up doing only 250,000. So it kind of goes to show you how much I guess people hold Max Holloway in regard nowadays. So I think he's getting up there. I don't think it's really going to play a part in this fact. I think he's back in training. If you've talked to Max recently, you'll know that he's been very, very focused on this fight. Hasn't done much media. It's been disappointing for like me and you, but I think he's incredibly focused on this. I think he's going to be in great shape, and I think I think he could be the guy. Stipe versus DC is the main event, but at the end of the night, I think maybe Max's star is going to rise and shine the brightest on UFC 226.
So yeah, UFC 226, we're in for a great evening then.
Oh, for sure, man. Like up and down the card. like Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. What a fight, man. There's some bad blood, they're heavy hitters. None of us want to see it go 3 rounds. I don't think it's going to go 3 minutes with these two. They hit like trucks, and they're both game. So I think they've both got a lot to prove as well. Then get back, Francis obviously coming off that loss to Stipe, and Derek really kind of wants to get in that heavyweight title mix. So great fight there, and another barn boner, perhaps flying a little under the radar. Yancy Medeiros versus Mike Perry. These two love to scrap, man. This is going to be like, what can you say? This is just going to be an absolute war between those two. I think neither take a step back, and you know, it's just one of many, many great fights that are going to be on that week. Obviously, the night before as well, Israel Adesanya taking on Brad Tavares in the finale of the Tough 27 series. What a fight that's going to be! I just literally can't wait for next week. I'm going to be there in Vegas as well, so you know, bring it on, man, bring it on. It's a hard week for us media guys, because there's so many events you have to go to, things you have to file, videos you have to cut, videos you have to edit. It's a pretty crazy week, but one you really look forward to, because you know, but by the Sunday, you would have seen some great fights, and you know, you leave Vegas a very happy guy.
Well, Jim, thank you very much for your time, buddy, and enjoy your week out in Vegas.
Good stuff.